No way. We are live on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm just telling you that because that's what it says in the screen.
Oh, okay. It says done now redirecting. So there we go. Okay. We should be live. Hi.
Hey!
Happy Friday.
We like to bring a little bit of cheer to everybody's Friday.
Yes, we do. Yeah. I had to close my window because of all of the planes and stuff going on for the open.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're in Golf World. So
yes, I am. Yes.
Yes. Same.
Okay. Indeed.
So tell me, Mindy, what, pray tell, brings us together on this lovely Friday going into a Super Bowl weekend?
I am so glad you asked because I have a question. The question is feather pillows, and I'm getting a lot of questions about them being flat and why that happens and what we can do to fix that. So
yeah, I actually, so this is really something that's very strange that I've learned. Oh, so you want to know how to unflatten them, fluff them, kind of thing?
Yeah, but first of all, why does that happen? I don't understand.
So this has been something that I have learned over the years as a function of just working with the materials literally with our hands all the time, and then kind of, we all know what a feather looks like, right? So a feather looks like a feather. It's got a spine with filaments that radiate from that spine, and it looks like a feather. I mean, everybody knows what a feather looks like. But what you don't realize perhaps is that feathers aren't flat. They actually have a little bit of curvature to them. And it's very slight. There's not a lot of curvature to them. If you look at them from the side, they kind of actually do something more like, something more like this, right? They kind of curve up a little bit. They have like a little bit of an ellipse to them. And so what's so strange and very unique about feathers is that over time inside of a pillow shell, they actually kind of start to spoon each other. So they kind of nest like that with each other inside the pillow. And that happens as a function of you putting your head on it, sleeping, in compression cycles, it kind of getting compressed and then releasing. And we talked about last week how that's kind of like the pillow taking a breath, but you compress the pillow and then you put your head up, and and over time, and I'm not talking like time like a couple of weekends, we're talking years and years and years of use. This happens to the pillow. It's actually happening to the feathers that are inside the pillow, right?
Okay.
So once they start to align themselves with each other and they kind of spoon themselves, there's really a trick that 99 times out of 100 works. But I thought I would show you this little trick actually. And so what you do is you play the pillow like an accordion, and I have a pillow right there.
Awesome, I see it. But before we go to the demonstration,
I want to take how to do that.
Yeah, I want to take a step back and talk about what a feather actually looks like, because you just sent me a picture, and I want to show everybody because it looks very different from what we normally see. Can you see this?
Yeah.
I shared my screen.
I know I took it, but I do love it.
Yeah. Well, what I love is that is a real penny, and then these don't look like feathers that I see out in the world.
No, and because we use a very specific type of feather. So you know how we like to talk about our pillows in terms of personality?
Yes.
Well, different types of feathers create different types of personalities, and that personality type that we use is that you'll sleep much more on that pillow if it's a feather pillow, right?
Okay. Yes.
And so feathers, you can source feathers in varying different sizes, and we choose a very, very small feather. We choose a 2 to 4 centimeter feather, and these are the largest feathers you would see in any of our feather pillows, and those are some of the smaller feathers that are in it. And those feathers are what you're sleeping on, and they have a tendency, now I realize that's a flat photo that looks, there's no side view of how they're kind of curved, but they do have a little bit of arc to them, a little bit of ellipse to them from the side view. But those are the feathers that are inside, and they're white because we're a Hungarian white goose down shop, so we use Hungarian white goose feather. And then those feathers, that's what they look like, and they're very, very small as a penny, maybe a little bit larger than a penny, and they have a very unique feel, sound, weight. And they, as we're talking about today, do something very unique inside of a pillow shell.
Well, they do look very soft. So here, I've got a little pencil thing.
Soft as a feather can be.
Yeah. So that I pointed to, I don't know if you can see that.
What's interesting about what you're pointing to is, if you notice, it's actually not very pointy.
Yes.
Right? So when I designed our feather pillows, I designed them in such a way, and I use a feather such that they won't go through the pillow very easily. It's not to say that they won't make it through, because they're feathers and they have a unique way of sometimes making their way through a piece of fabric. But for all intent and purposes, we've designed them in a way that the poke throughs are minimized. And that's a function of the design of the pillow, the design of the shell, the density of that shell, and the feathers that are used inside of it.
Okay, love that. So this little curve, like if I could kind of describe it, is that the spoony part that you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I realize it's kind of a flat. Let me see if I can just really color in.
I love your work.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Van Gogh's got nothing on you.
I worked really hard on it. Okay, so now we understand that the feathers that are inside the pillow are not the same feathers that we've seen Shakespeare writing with. They're not these gigantic quills with pointed ends, and we're dipping ink. It's not like that.
Definitely not. And truth be told, I kind of started learning about feathers a long time ago, and obviously there's just thousands, tens of thousands of different types of feathers. Now granted, Hungarian geese feathers have a very unique and specific type of property that we use because of that animal and the way that they perform under compression and over time. So yeah, there's a lot of specificity to this feather being used. It's not some whatever feathers we can get, we shove into a shell to create a pillow.
Right. And I do like that they're white. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So let's go back to the demonstration because I love action. So let's see. If I've got a pillow that's flat because all of my feathers are spooning each other, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like they've exhaled, I guess, in our breathing terminology.
Yeah, I like it.
How do we get them to inhale?
So what we do is the goal is to agitate them from the sides.
Okay.
And you do that by playing your pillow like an accordion. I think I should show you how that can be done.
Please do.
I'm gonna.
Okay. And are we gonna get some polka music to go along with that? Because that would be.
I gave the rest of the polka team the day off.
You did?
Yeah, I gave them the day
Hi.
off. So, all right, so here we go.
Okay.
So, feather pillow.
Yes.
Right?
That is an original feather pillow because of the blue and white stripes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can see all that, right? You can see all the stripes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. All right, so what you do is you take the pillow and you play it like an accordion.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And that will agitate the feathers from being flat. This pillow is obviously not flat, but I can see squish it a little bit. But you start agitating them. Now all of a sudden,
oh hey, it's fluffy again. Yes.
That's right.
Love that. Give it a hug. There's nothing better than hugging a pillow. I should have brought mine out here so I could hug it.
I like it when they're taut. I like that.
Yes.
So that'll help agitate those feathers so that it'll end up being much fluffier. But that's just a function of they flatten over time, years, because of that. And you might have to do it more than once. You might have to do it for longer than I just did it. I just wanted to give you what the motion would look like to do that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll agitate them, and they will fluff back up.
Well, that seems really easy. That seems like something that I could actually do whenever I'm changing my linens and washing every week, like we learned last week, right?
Yes, true. I always find it interesting too. A lot of people, part of their routine for going to sleep is to do a lot of fluffing, whether they fluff their pillows, their comforters, their mattress toppers, whatever. I find it utterly fascinating because sometimes that helps people's perception of the softness of their bed. Some people just just get in and then they want everything to be as fluffy as it should be, and it does. It is. Products from us are like that, but some other companies and some other products, and feather pillows specifically, sometimes have a tendency to flatten out over decades of use. Now you know how to fluff them back up.
Now we know.
No.
I feel knowledged.
I try to drop in knowledge is that's right. I gotta get used to where the mic is.
Got the bomb.
I don't think the camera loves me, but
it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So I hope that helped. I think that helped. Maybe that demystifies a little bit how you can fluff a pillow when it comes up, about how to maybe make it a little bit thicker.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had this talk. Thanks for clearing it up.
Happy Friday. Hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl weekend.
Yes. Have a good weekend. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.